money going to pay for someone else's health care. That's the kind of thing that it's like, how do you not call them an idiot?
Right.
They are.
You know?
No, I'm not against calling them idiots. I just feel like we can't stop there. You know what I mean? We just can't laugh them off because they are forced to be dealt to deal with.
Right.
But they're idiots. I'm not going to.
You know, but it's like,
it's like
maybe deplorable was the wrong word. Unteachable.
You think?
Unteachable
Was it the wrong
seems
word?
well.
Deplorable was
what
not
I'm
the wrong word, but it wasn't a great political strategy at that.
right, but what I'm saying is maybe the word to use for these people is unteachable.
Yeah.
Because they refuse to learn, and that is one of the biggest things.
Well, Lyndon B. Johnson even stated that if you can get that white man to believe that he's better than that black man, you can pick his pocket. What happened?
Yeah.
Their pockets have been picked.
Yeah.
And then look what we got. We got Donald Trump because we were made to believe that this guy is the savior.
But
and
thanks,
that Obama look what Obama did to you.
But thanks to unions, those pockets aren't being picked by 5-year-olds. So.
But you see how they're still so fixated. That's one thing that really makes me laugh is the degree of fixation they still have on Obama. It's like someone tell them that he's not in office anymore.
They'll never
Somebody tell
recover.
these people that he's not
Yeah, but you know what?
They still talk about
but
Hillary.
he's still black.
Yeah, they still talk about Hillary Clinton. I'm like, Hillary Clinton didn't win. Let's move on. Like, that's what Obama.
They
Clinton,
can't let
Obama,
it go.
They
They
just
cannot
won't
let it
stop
go.
talking
Because
about
Trump,
these two people.
when Trump gets in trouble, what does he do? Obama did that. See, that's from Obama. Obama did
Who
this.
cares? Obama's not in office. It's
But
irrelevant now.
in his mind, if he can sell that to his base, that I'm fixing what Obama
They're living
screwed
in the
up.
past.
He was your
do you
problem.
remember that shit burger that Obama was handed when he came into office after the two fucking years of the terms of
Two
Bushes?
terms, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he never said anything like it. He just rolled up his sleeves and
Did
got
his
to
fucking
work
job.
fixing
But they
it.
called him weak because
Yeah.
he didn't threaten people. He's not Johnny Badass. He did it in a diplomatic way.
He was
weaker.
professional.
He didn't move fast enough for them. Like this whole thing they're saying with the whole Russian thing, that Obama knew about it and he didn't act upon it quick enough. Well, guess what? He was caught between a rock and a hard place. If I do something, look what you're doing here. You're saying, you're promoting the Democratic agenda. Well, if you don't, you're doing it. Why are you blaming? To
your logic, he had never dealt with anything like this. This was new to him. Right. So you guys should give him a pass on this.
Well, and then,
sure, he'd been president before, but the Russians had never.
Could you imagine hiring someone to be a doctor or surgeon who never did surgery before? Because you were like, we want someone outside of the medical corporate game world, and they bring him in, and then he tries to do surgery on somebody and kills them.
Med school,
right? Yeah. Or I guess there are problems with the medical industry, so maybe they're like, we don't want someone who is socialized in that industry, so they bring an outsider, and then he tries to do surgery on someone, and he kills them, and they're like, well, he's new to surgery, so we have to forgive him. So then he kills somebody else, and I'm like, well, he's still learning. Let's just give him. Let's let him keep killing
people say,
people.
Well, we voted for change. I'm like, well, okay. Here's the thing, though. Not all change is good. For instance, right now, there is not a rabid wombat clawing at your crotch. If there was, well, that would be a change, wouldn't it? You're going to vote for that because it's change.
I still
there you go.
You want change, you want progress.
Oh my God, you guys! What do you do to get up in the morning? I mean, it's all
Coffee.
such a fucking.
Well, you could be like one of my friends that says, "Hey, how you doing, Craig? Oh man, I'm oppressed. I'm oppressed." Every day he said, I'm oppressed, brother. I say, hey man, have a cup of coffee. You'll be all right.
I mean, I
do a joke around New Year's that I don't make New Year's resolutions. I make my New Year's resignations.
Right.
It's so much easier just to wake up every morning, stare up at the ceiling fan, and think, I'm going to die alone.
Yes,
Yeah.
right.
And I think once you get the baseline,
and soon is how it's changed.
We were talking about adapting the tactics of the right to fight their fight. So I have lowered the bar sufficiently that I can, it's like just the knowledge that the warm embrace of death awaits. That gets me out of bed in the morning.
I could get out of here.
We are trying to find joy in the end times.
It
like
is.
The
Well,
Trump apocalypse. It's weird.
And speaking of the apocalypse, church and state got into the news a couple times this week. One of my favorites, the monument, I guess you could call it, of the Ten Commandments.
Ah, yes.
State Capitol, Little Rock, got mowed down by a guy in his car.
Who's done it before?
Yeah, he had done it in Oklahoma. And, there are people who are saying it's not, I can't believe he's doing this. It's not a religious monument. The first commandment, I am the Lord thy God, thou shalt have no other gods before me. Kind of religious. My suggestion is if they want to keep putting these up, they should just change the first commandment to please stop driving into our monuments. I think that's a good place to start.
Not
but also they could
run
just
us
stop putting
over
it
with
up.
thine Dodge truck.
Or they could just stop putting it up.
Well, yeah, that is also an
It
option.
wasn't public property. Like, it wasn't on a home. It was if it's your private property, you have a right to put it up. And if someone mows it down, that's vandalism. They shouldn't do it.
But not on government
But
property.
you're putting it on a government. And this is the thing that gets me about that, because like I Twitter trolled that day really bad, because there was just like a lot of fundy pastors, and I had fun with them, and and I went to grad school for Christian theology, so I know my stuff, and that makes it a lot more fun to troll them. But my thing about them is that they're so mad that this happened, but and it's not it's a cultural attack, because they're calling it a religious attack. It's not. It's a cultural attack, because the Ten Commandments themselves forbid a graven image. So, like, you basically have a stone monument of
It's pretty
10
graven.
10 commandments.
Graven as images get.
And which is forbidden by the Ten Commandments. So when this guy mowed it down, he's actually supporting your religion. Because you're not supposed to be doing that in Christianity.
He is Moses smashing the tablets upon the site of the golden calf.
Yeah, that is actually perfectly...
Damn, your religious references are so on
The
point
only
today,
reason
Doc.
why the Ten Commandments were on stone is because there was no writing on paper in those days. The stone doesn't matter.
Plus,
Excuse me,
also it's like
papyrus.
if you know any burning bush, they never have pens. You gotta nope. All right,
So that's
fuck.
my
Well, let's
favorite
put it
thing
in
about
stone.
it. It's like, this is against your religion, so you have no. This was not a religion. You have no argument. Your religion wasn't hurt. Go back to church and read your Bible and leave everyone else alone. Like,
but
stop making us suffer for your beliefs.
That's the thing. It's the convenience of religion. It's when it is convenient for my beliefs to infringe on your rights.
Well, if you,
Which is the reason.
then my beliefs are important and should be given higher precedent, because they are handed down from upon high.
Because they don't read their Bible. They do not. That's what they
absolutely.
can sell
that's
you.
why they're so stupid about these things.
They do not know what the scriptures actually mean. Some guy was I was playing golf, and he brought up a David, and he was connecting it to Trump, because David, he had, he committed murder and he was still good with God and everything. And I said, do you know why he was still good with God? Well, it was because he was David. No. He went back to God. He didn't get. He didn't get it to his. He repented his sins. Idiot.
Well, and all right, so that actually it brings us to a great point, as long as we're doing Bible references and stuff, because one of the Supreme Court decisions that was handed down this week brought us closer to blending church and state. But, and it's one of those things, because of course I am opposed to people's religion being imposed upon us by the government. But this sort of makes sense if you look at the logic of the case. And it's funny, because this is a church in my former adopted hometown of Columbia, Missouri. But basically, they wanted government funding for the playground at the church for safety equipment. That the government has a fund that provides safety equipment for playgrounds. And the church's argument was, well, this has nothing to do with religious instruction. So, this is for the safety of the children. My first issue with that is, if you look at the biblical examples of Abraham and God, so this way we're hitting both books, the old one and the new one. Abraham was willing to sacrifice his son to fulfill God's will. It's written right there in the New Testament, for God so loved the world that he gave his only son. So if you guys as Christians aren't willing to trust God and potentially sacrifice your children on the playground, I don't know if you're really good Christians.
I'm not sure if I agree with you on that one.
No. There are plenty of instances in the Bible, both books, two of the three major faiths, where God's like, you dig me? put up your kid. Let's see how
then,
much
but
you
then
dig
he
it.
stopped him, though.
Well,
He told
absolutely.
him not to do that.
So where is the faith?
Parents
If
should
they
never
don't think
sacrifice their kids.
if they don't think God is going to step in and save Jimmy from swinging, jumping off the swings, where is their faith? Where how can they call themselves Christians? Yeah. But I do think it's an interesting decision because the logic behind the decision was that, they are a religious organization, but they do benefit from other taxpayer-funded services like the police and the fire department. So this is looped in with that. And I was thinking about that, and it's basically separating the public service duties of a church from the religious duties.
Okay. Right.
So if they can maintain that line, I think it's acceptable. But
Wait, is this playground open to the public?
I believe so.
Okay.
It is in Missouri, so there is a "No Jews Allowed" sign.
Yes.
It's Columbia. I love Columbia. It's a very progressive town. Columbia is awesome. And I don't even know where this church is, so I could have ridden my bike past it a million times.
Though, wouldn't it?
No, they were a
Missouri was a slave
well, they were
state.
like they weren't full on. They were
Full
like
on?
the.
I didn't,
Well, as long as they're not full
Missouri-
on, it's okay.
Well, no, Missouri,
that makes it all
Missouri,
different.
No, they were one of those states where they're like, well, we don't approve of slavery, but we're not going to do anything about the people who have them. So it was. Hey, I'm from Chicago. I just lived in Missouri. I'm not stepping up as the defender of the show me state, especially with all the shit that's going on there now. But
Back to your point, though.
back to the point. So I think if the liberals can allow this Supreme Court decision to stand, that they can see their way to drawing a line between the community service aspects of a church and the religious aspects of a church, I think it is only fair to expect the conservatives and the religious lunatics to understand that the same kind of line can be drawn at somewhere like Planned Parenthood, where government funds, Medicare, can be used for all of the non-abortion medical services that Planned Parenthood provides. And if the church wants to do religious instruction, they can do that on their own dime.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Donations, however they make their money,
They won't fly in Texas, but yeah.
Well, right, but that's the thing. It is purely logical. It is applying the logic that they use to justify their argument.
Stop insisting on logic.
This
is where we're falling down, people. The Democratic Party and liberal America keeps insisting upon logic.
I know,
and
but
does
we
no
give up too
longer
easily.
applies.
We give up too easily. You have to break it down to the very simple aspects of the issue.
Obama
And
broke
studies
it down
have
to
been
the
done.
simple.
Yeah, but he was black. I'm a Jew who looks like a
Studies
regular
have been
white
done
guy.
where you
I'm a Jew who looks like a
take-
regular white guy. I'm a long-haired Jew with a beard. These people should love me.
So listen, people who believe in whatever their dogma is, whether it's right or wrong, when they are given the facts, when they are reasoned with, when they are shown proof that what they know is wrong, they still cling to the thing that they believe in. And it has now become an epidemic in this country, and I blame reality television for it, because
Honey Boo Boo.
Because we've all, I'm back to my opening statement here. We've lost our mooring. We don't understand what is objectively true and what isn't. And, you think there's a double standard? Do you think the logic that the playground, the church playground can be, that can be funded and then the other stuff? Yeah.
I say we blend the two issues and start doing abortions at the church playgrounds.
Now
After
you're
hours.
talking.
After hours, of course.
Now you're talking.
Just a thought.
Yeah.
That's,
The abortion
I like to be the
slide.
Jonathan Swift of the show every once in a while. I got my modest proposals. Eat the children.
But like you said, you're trying to talk logic to a very illogical type of people who are. Some of them are living in a world that just doesn't exist. It's like the alt-right.
They would rather see the light
they're
than the
living in an
truth.
imaginary world.
You got the alt-right. You've got all these different groups. There are groups coming out of the woodwork, and they're you are blaming all kinds of folks. You had a woman that walked into a hospital and said, "Are there no white